Hi everybody. Today I'm going to try and do a short and concise video on micro water tapering from your medications which fall under the group of benzodiazepines. If you're watching this video, you are probably interested in the journey of how to do this. I'm just briefly giving you an overview of the four most common benzodiazepines, and I've done them in order of their half-life within your body. So the top is lorazepam, which is commonly known as Ativan, which has the shortest half-life in your body. We then go to alprazolam, which is commonly known as Xanax. The next one is clonazepam, which is commonly known as Klonopin or Rivotril as well. And then we have diazepam, which is commonly known as Valium and has the longest half-life out of all of the above benzodiazepines. Hi everybody, my name is Anya. I live in South Africa, Cape Town, and have undergone quite a journey this year into researching withdrawal from psychiatric medication. I tried to Google a lot of stuff on YouTube. I have researched for many hours, and I struggled with many of the videos showing how to do a micro water taper. My journey started at the beginning of this year when I cold turkeyed from a sleeping tablet called Ambien, or commonly known as Stilnox. Inadvertently and without knowing, I went into major withdrawals, and over a couple of weeks I ended up in the doctor's room in July and then landed up getting polydrugged. And after this I really had to have a look at it and research how to withdraw from medications, what had happened to me. So it's been a very interesting journey. So let's get to the tutorial of how to do a micro water taper. A micro water taper involves using the same amount of water and the same amount of pill every day, and the reduction comes in on the amount of water you take off and discard every single day. And this is where your slow taper comes in. One of the most important things with tapering from any psychiatric medication is doing it very, very slowly. This is so that your own body and central nervous system can adjust as you are decreasing the medications. Please never cold turkey or try and speed up this process. It is not worth it and can land you in very, very dangerous waters and very ill. So for me, I started to use Klonopin to help me cope with the withdrawals. Benzos are addictive within 14 days and can cause severe withdrawals even after just 3 weeks of daily use or even ad hoc use. So tapering, however long you have been on it and however much you have been on it, is very important. So my taper involves Klonopin, and in South Africa Klonopin falls under the name of Rivotril as well. Here is a description of the Klonopin tablets. Your general Klonopin tablet is a 0.5 milligram tablet, which is that size like that. If you break it in half, which you do by cutting, it looks like this, and it is 0.25 milligrams. You can then go one step further and divide it into 4, and each piece is 0.125 milligram tablets. A lot of your benzos are quite easy to score up until to cut up until this point, as they are scored, but you have to cut very carefully and try and get your quartering or your halving as accurately as possible. I started my journey with one tablet, 0.5 milligrams. I was using daily, split into 2 doses, half in the morning and half in the evening. I managed to dry cut myself down to a quarter in the morning and a quarter in the evening. Once I was at the quarters, I realized that it was really difficult to cut it into a quarter of the quarter, and that is when I started researching the method of micro water tapering. At the bottom of my papers, you see the amount of waters which are recommended by research to use at whatever stage you are starting your water taper. If you are starting right at the beginning using a 0.5 milligram tablet or even 1 milligram tablets, you would drop a whole tablet into your water, and recommended is 300 mils or more. And on a half a tablet, recommended is between 200 and 250 mils water. And if you start your micro taper at a quarter tablet or 0.125 milligrams, they are recommend between 100 and 150 ml water. Important to remember is the amount of water that you use determines the amount of days that you carry your taper out over. Your water and your tablet size will remain consistent throughout your taper. So if you start with 300 mils and use one tablet, that is what your base will be every single day. You never ever change that. Same with when you use a half a tablet, same with use 100 or a quarter tablet. The change comes, as I said, with the amount that you withdraw and discard. I will now show you how I actually do my taper. For this, I have a digital kitchen scale, which I got quite cheaply. It measures in grams or milliliters. I have a mason jar, which holds 300 mils water. I have a 10 ml syringe, but you can work with the 1 ml, 10 ml, 20 ml syringe, depending on how much you will be discarding. And I keep a bottle of water, which is purely tap water. I will take my jar, my mason jar, and at this stage of the game, I'm now tapering. I started my water taper using a 0.125 milligram tablet. So that is what I use every single day with the same amount of water. I am using 100 mils of water, which means that my taper will take 100 days, and I can extend it, as I will explain just now, to more days if I feel I'm going too fast. In my mason jar, I will pour my water. Make sure your scale is on 0, and I will get it to 100 mils. I've now got 105 mils, so I tap a little bit off. And there we sit exactly at 100 mils. I drop my quarter piece of a tablet in. And as you can see, the tablet is now in the water. Klonopin takes quite a long time to dissolve in the water, so I now have to leave it standing for about 15 minutes. Once it has dissolved, it will create what we call a suspension and not a solution. This means that you have to shake it very well, and the particles will float around in the water, but they will very quickly drop down to the bottom, which means you constantly have to shake your jar to maintain a suspension. Some of your medications are very soluble and will remain as a solution. Then you don't have to shake that often. I will pause the video now and then get back to you as soon as my tablet is dissolved. Before I carry on, I just want to clarify, if you do not have a scale or a kitchen scale, it's not a problem. You can measure out your daily water mils with using a watering jug, or what I've seen a lot of people do is they actually mark on their jar with a permanent marker the line where their water has to go to, depending on what amount you're using. I've chosen to use, and then they eyeball it with the weight. Especially while you're traveling, that's probably an easier way to go, because you will not be having a measuring jug and a scale. I use a scale for accuracy. I like to keep it accurate. Right, I'm now back after 15 minutes, and I will open my jar, and as you can see, the tablet has dissolved and it is sitting all at the bottom of the jar, at the bottom of the water. And this is now called a suspension. It has dissolved, but it's not dissolved into the water, it lies at the bottom. So in order to create a suspension, make sure your lid is on very, very well. And you give the jar a very good shake. While I'm shaking, let me just explain. I'm on day 50 of my 100 ml water, so 100-day taper. I've already reached day 50, which means I am drawing off 50 milliliters of water today. Now you can see it's cloudy. You need to work quite quickly. I have my 10 ml syringe here, and I will remove in increments of 10. as accurately as possible. So there's a removal of 10, which I discard. And remove the next 10 as accurately as possible. Discard. To keep it as precise as possible, I close my lid again, give it another shake. And do it again. I've removed 20, I'm now doing another 10. 30. One more 10. Now removed 40. And again, I close my jar, shake, and remove my last 10, which in total will be 50. It is suggested to try and remove sort of in the middle of your water, so not too close to the top and also not too close at the bottom. Try and avoid air bubbles in your water. Discard. I'm now left with my balance, and at this stage it's 50 ml balance, which I'm going to divide into 2 doses, one for morning and one for my evening. Right, for my doses, I've bought some plastic bottles at a cheap plastic warehouse, and I have got 2, but you can buy yourself more. I now have my 50 ml, which I have to split into 2 doses. Open my bottles. I will just, to be accurate,
because you take day and night.
give it another shake. I then eyeball it into 2 doses. Give it a good swirl again. Drops down to the bottom quite quickly, unfortunately. If I see that I still have a little bit in the bottom, I just top it up with a couple of mils of water. Give it another swirl, just to make sure I get everything out. And there I have my 2 doses for the day, one for morning and one for evening. Tomorrow, when I repeat exactly the same procedure, using 100 ml of water, using a quarter or 0.125 milligrams of my Klonopin, follow the same shake, dissolve, shake well. And tomorrow I'm 1 day further, so I will remove 1 extra ml, which makes it that I will be removing 51 mils of water. Leave me a balance of 49, which I eyeball and split into 2 doses. If you are on 3 doses, you split into 3 doses. If you're doing 4 doses, you split into 4 doses. So the actual decreasing of your Klonopin comes through the extra 1 ml that you withdraw and discard every day. This method seems to be very smooth, and if you look at the scientific method behind it, you are removing a minute amount of your actual medication every day, so you are not having ups and downs. And for me it has worked very, very well, with very, very few withdrawal noticing very few withdrawals. What I want to add in as well is that if you are feeling off on certain days and you feel it's going too quick, you can hold at the same amount of withdrawing your milliliters. So you can hold at withdrawing 49 milliliters or 56 milliliters for a couple of days and then resume again to add the extra mils. Another method I've seen is that you withdraw only half a mil for a couple of days and then get back to a full mil. If you're feeling it's going too quick, you can continue only withdrawing half a mil. The most important thing is that you keep an accurate record of how much you have to withdraw for that particular day. This is important so that you carry on slowly going down and you don't land up going back up again. I hope this video has clarified things for you, and I hope to be doing a few more videos in the future on deprescribing from psychiatric medication. The last and final thing, I just want to please let everybody know I'm not a medical doctor and I do not have any degrees in any medical. I am a patient who landed up in a lot of trouble, and through my research taught myself how to do it, which a lot of us are having to do, as many doctors are not knowledgeable on how to do a very slow taper process. So please, I'm not a medical doctor, and this video is for your own use. Thank you.